Hi, I'm Commander Bill of CommanderBill.net, and I recently received my copy of the Awana Sparks Large Group Guide, and I posted on Facebook that I was going to give a review once I got it and looked at it, and I did take a brief look at it. Obviously, I have not used it in my club yet or with any clubbers to see reaction that way, but looking at it, I am very impressed with what I see. Of course, the colorful in the beginning, that's not going to interest anybody but you as a leader looking at it, but it catches your attention. In the beginning, very simple table of contents. Very simple table of contents. I'll show you some as much as I can. Obviously, I can't show you all of it. Where in the beginning, I like that it gives you an introduction to the large group guide. Basically, your role and why they developed it, and your purpose is to reach kids with the gospel. And then it's understanding Sparks Large Group Time. It gives you successful Sparks strategies for different groups, how to teach Sparks well. Tells you how to share the gospel with Sparks, which is a nice linear progression that they have. Many of you know about the gospel wheel. I mean, they have the obvious, belong, believe, and become. The 3 B's that they've been talking about with the child discipleship forums and all that throughout. And then it does talk about how to share the gospel with Sparkies. Now, this is where I had my first criticism, constructive comment about the guide. They use some words here that you probably do not want to use with your Sparks because they're big words and some adults don't understand it. It's good that they have them for the leader's perspective. They talk about God's big story, where it talks about creation, the fall, redemption, and restoration. Now, Sparks may not understand redemption and restoration unless it's explained to them well. And I mean, in the body, with the content below, it does explain it very well, which will help you to explain that to the Sparks. But if you choose to use the graphic and the words creation, fall, redemption, and restoration, be sure to explain it well to the Sparks that you have. But it does give you a great way to share the gospel with the Sparkies alongside of the gospel wheel. And then it helps you to prepare for the lesson. And preparation is very simple. I mean, I'm not a big fan of no prep because leaders should have an understanding of what they're teaching and not just come in and read the lesson. But it's minimal prep. It will help you out. So if you've got a full-time job, taking care of your household or things of that nature, very simple prep. It gives you different things to use, different suggestions for videos. Doesn't necessarily give you videos, but it says, hey, do a search for this type of video. And then you can choose what may work well for your club and the kids that you have. And so the question everybody has is, what does a typical lesson look like? And in the beginning, it's got that section, what's in a Sparks Large Group Time lesson. And it goes through it. Again, I can't really show all that much. But each lesson is 2 pages. And so the pages are front facing. And so you open the book and there's your lesson. Those 2 pages there. So you're not flipping pages. You can have it in your stand and you can see the whole lesson in front of you at that point. And each lesson is laid out the same way for the most part. It has the welcome, where you look up the verse that you're discussing. It has the Bible teaching, the lesson, where it helps you create discussion among the Sparks and have some interaction that way. It's got letters that are in bold, which are questions that you would want your Sparks to read that way, to answer or to do. Things used in things that are italicized or for when you're quoting scripture. Okay, that should be read aloud. So it gives you a guide as to how to use it and what and things of that nature. And then you have a live it out, which is an application. We need to understand God's word and then apply it to our lives so others can see it. And then the last portion is how it points to Jesus, because everything in the Bible ultimately points to Jesus and what God's done for us. And so the other sections, it does have another section which is an activity, a Sparks activity, and it notes that each lesson contains the activity, and so if you have time, you can do the activity. If you do not have time, you do not have to do the activity. And so you can modify and tweak it for how it fits your club and your schedule that way. And so, like I say, if I just open up the book arbitrarily to a lesson, you'll see that everything is on 2 pages. It's hard to see. Everything is on 2 pages, front and back, and they're all grouped out about the same way. And so the next question becomes the table of, well, first off, is it good for small churches? I'm in a very small club in a small church, and so I do not have a lot of people to utilize for skits and things of that nature. All you need with this large group guide is the one person leading the lesson, leading the large group time for your club. However you have it set up, whether all the Sparks are together, whether you have them by handbook, by grade, or whatever, all you need is that one leader to help share the story, the large group time lesson. You don't need an entourage of people for skits, and so it's very good for small churches, large churches, and any size church that you have. You won't be dissuaded and look at it in a small church and say, wow, I can't use this, it takes too many people. No, it's good. You can handle it well. And so the final question that everybody asks is, I want to see a table of contents. What is in there? Now, for me, I look at the Who books. The Who books were made for Sparks so that it would complement the book. You'd have biographies and different things in the handbooks, and so these would be things that would complement what was in the handbook. So what you have with this new large group guide is, if you have your clubbers working, if you have your Sparks working through the handbooks together, where you focus on one section or one lesson each night, like Cubbies, TNT, and all the other clubs do, then this book is great for you because it's broken up by section. It tells you what section in the handbook it covers, what the lesson's about, and there's a total of 30 lessons, and so that may be not enough for some clubs, it may be good for others. It includes one lesson for Easter and one lesson for Christmas for each handbook. So this, you happen to have the hang glider book, and so you can see it goes with the rank, and then you've got the different red jewels or green jewels that would go together and things of that nature. And that would be typical for the Wing Runner and the Skystormer sections, handbooks. It's got the jewel, the rank, and different things to help you. This would be the Wing Runner. And then, of course, we can go back to the Skystormer, and we can see the same kind of thing where it gears up to what jewel or rank in the book it covers, including Flight 316, the entrance booklet. And so if you're working all together through the book with the Sparks focused on one lesson, this can help you focus on that lesson. If you're not like my club, where Sparks still maintain they're self-paced and they work through the books on their own, then like before, like historically with Sparks, you can choose a lesson from this book that you want to go. You can rotate, start this year with the hang glider book and go through all the lessons, do Wing Runner next year, then Skystormer, or you can pick and choose in whatever order you would want to go. Again, my personal recommendation would be pick a handbook. If all your clubbers, all your Sparks are working in the same handbook, pick that book. If they're self-paced or working in different books and the large group is together, just start with the hang glider, work through the hang glider, next year pick up Wing Runner, and then the Skystormer, and rotate through the 3 years like that. And that way you'll cover everything. It makes planning easier because you can take the book and just kind of plan it out. Again, it does have the 30 weeks. You can pick and choose the weeks, but it does help you. It kind of lays out a guide. It's got 31 weeks for some of them, okay. Should have looked at it closer. 31 weeks here in the Skystormer. I'm going to flip through real quick. You got 30 weeks for the hang glider. That's what I was looking at first. 30 weeks for the hang glider. 31 for the Skystormer. And you have 30 for the Wing Runner. So it's 30 lessons for the most part, except for Skystormer has an extra one. And you can go in that order. Again, I like it. I was impressed with it. The only other comment I would make was, I know why they put the book together all in one book. It's convenient, and that's fine. The potential was there, I guess, to have an individual large group guide for each club, or for each handbook. And that could be helpful for some clubs if they go by grade and book or whatever and break things up that way. But again, I understand why they have it all here in one book. It's convenient. You've got it. You can reference it. You can flip through and pick a lesson that connects, and it follows the handbook itself, so that you can work through that easily and conveniently. Again, I like it. I'm real pleased with it. I am not getting anything from Awana for this review. If I didn't like it, I would tell you. But this year, I plan on using this large group guide in my club, because I think it will be a true asset for my leaders and to help with the clubs. Again, I get nothing from this. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to comment, shoot me an email, cb@commanderbill.net. I'll be glad to answer anything for you. But I like it. It follows the handbooks, so that, like I say, if all your clubbers are working together, all your sparks are working together, it gives you a guide, maybe what lesson to focus on those weeks and things of that nature. So I like it. I recommend it. And have any questions, let me know. And I will see you later as we focus on the upcoming Awana year. Bye.